This podcast will be relatively brief and it will deal with the gallbladder. The gallbladder is a pear-shaped organ. It can store maybe 50 to 75 mils of bile. It's drawn in here with the liver removed. You will recall that there's a sphincter in the bile duct. It can close so the bile will flow from the liver into the gallbladder. Enteroendocrine cells, usually eye cells that are in the duodenum, will secrete cholecystokinin. That will cause smooth muscle in the gallbladder to contract. That will cause the gallbladder to release bile. Remember that the ampulla of Vater, which is shown here, is an area where tumors can form, and this sphincter of Oddi, its smooth muscle bands that can control bile flow. So this schematic diagram would show the common hepatic duct, the cystic duct, bile being stored in the gallbladder, showing these ducts that are going to become confluent with the main pancreatic duct, and showing how they empty into the duodenum. Now, the mucosa of the gallbladder is very highly folded. It consists of a simple columnar epithelium with microvilli that are not that prominent in routine sections. The cells are very tall. They have clear apices. There are no goblet cells in the mucosa of the gallbladder. There is a lamina propria that can be identified in the gallbladder, but there's no muscularis mucosae that can be identified. So this would be an area of lamina propria. Remember, lamina propria we can look at as a general term. It's a connective tissue layer upon which an epithelium rests. The submucosa of the gallbladder is similar to the GI tract in that there are blood vessels, lymphatics, and nerves in the submucosa. The muscularis of the gallbladder has 2 or 3 irregular layers of smooth muscle. There's a serosa with the mesothelium, or an adventitia where the gallbladder would contact the liver, because remember, the gallbladder is kind of buried into the lobes of the liver. The function of the gallbladder is essentially storage and concentration of bile. So we show the gallbladder lumen on the top of the image. We show some tight junctions between some epithelial cells in the gallbladder. So these tight junctions are on the apical surface. There are sodium, potassium ATPases in the basolateral surface. They're going to pump sodium out against a concentration gradient. Water is going to follow that sodium, and as the water follows that sodium, it's going to be drawn out of the lumen of the gallbladder, and that's going to concentrate the bile. That osmotic gradient essentially concentrates the bile something like 10-fold. This just shows the very highly folded gallbladder mucosa. Look at the tall columnar cells with relatively clear apices, lamina propria, some of the muscularis. Again, a higher power view of the folded mucosa. Very tall, simple columnar cells. No goblet cells intermingle with them. Very scant microvilli. These deep folds are normal. They're called Rokitansky-Ashcroft crypts. And here you can see the lamina propria. Again, more of the folded gallbladder mucosa, so you can see the mucosa, some of the lamina propria, and some of the smooth muscle in the muscularis.